Hi, bestie. Welcome to your Big Three podcast. I'm your host, Jazmin, and on the show, we get to explore our humanity through the lens of astrology, decoding a different Big Three every episode. Whether you're an astrology enthusiast or a little astro curious, welcome. Hello, everyone. Hi, besties. I hope you are all well. It's your girl, Jazmin. I'm checking in with a very sporadic schedule. While I intended to keep myself on a monthly basis, we may have missed May, but it's because life was getting lived. And I think that, you need to let plans be reworked when life demands evolution and when life demands pivot and adjustment. So with that, I'm so happy that I'm able to bring and platform such a delicious and exciting conversation this month and just check in with everyone and see how everyone is feeling, because it has been a pretty significant time cosmically. We've had some big full moons. We've had Saturn finally move out of Pisces. I particularly really needed that as a Saturn in Pisces native. I needed Saturn in Aries, and I felt the alleviation of Saturn in Aries. We've also had Mars in Virgo, which I'm honestly really, can I say that I'm really enjoying this Mars in Virgo transit. Obviously, it's going to be sort of impacting everyone's life differently depending on your rising sign and what house it's moving through for you. And I did make some content. I hate the word content, by the way. I made a video, recorded myself going through exactly what Mars and Virgo could look like for you depending on your rising sign. And that's on TikTok, that's on Instagram, that's on YouTube. But in general, I'm calling this the Beyonce transit because I think Mars and Virgo is really driving in the idea of, instead of spreading yourself thin across every facet of your life to the point where nothing really gets done because you are too exhausted to give yourself completely to any task, there's this invitation to sort of focus in one area of your life that is demanding that expertise, that intention, that discipline, that discernment, and really building something there rather than thinking you need to sort of experience this full-on renaissance overnight, because that kind of lends to, I keep saying about, a jack of all trades, master of none. Like, why don't we just, pick one area and give ourselves to that area? And then when we feel fulfilled, or where we feel like we have a grip and a foundation and it's fortified, we can move on to tackle something new. So with that, for me, Mars and Virgo is moving through my 10th house, which is career and purpose and how the world experiences you on a sort of professional platform. Or at least I'm kind of honing in on that aspect of the 10th house. But yeah, I've just been trying to build a schedule where I can be productive in a way where I don't end the day burnt out, and also make creative time to expel something purposeful and meaningful into the world, even if what actually pays me sometimes feels a little flat. How can I make sure that I'm still within that making time for this, which is creatively fulfilling? And how can I give that just as much priority as I do the tasks that I sort of need to get done for, business and job and career and all that. So anyway, that is why I've really been intentional about creating something this month and speaking to someone who I think you guys are really going to take so much from this month. This episode, I'm going to be talking to Tatiana Cardona. She is the force behind Female Alchemy. If you're not familiar with Female Alchemy, girl, where you been? She's everything. Female Alchemy, which is her brand of ceramics, is such a authentic expression of her being, and she's allowed it to evolve with how she's evolved. She started off with, sort of having this lip cup stamp, and I think she's been so good at moving with her own evolution and letting the art that comes out of her align with that metamorphosis. And it only makes sense that she is a Gemini sun, a Gemini moon. She's a Virgo rising, but honestly, and we'll get into it, she's also a Gemini Mercury, a Gemini Venus, a Gemini Mars. She's Gemini down. In the spirit of Gemini season, we're going to get into it. So I'm super excited to bring this conversation to you guys. Before we get into it, I always love to offer a journaling prompt that can allow you guys to explore your own inner world as it pertains to how I'm exploring my own inner world. But in the vein of Mars and Virgo and this call to action in terms of achieving mastery in one area of your life and how that inevitably sort of bleeds into the rest of your life. Everything is connected. And if you're really honing in on routine to make sure that you're showing up for your creativity and your career in a way that's sustainable, then that impacts your health and that impacts your well-being and that impacts the way that you schedule your sleep and your meals, and within that, maybe how you schedule exercise. And so, mastering one area of your life and focusing on it, honing in on it will inevitably, I think, just straighten up every area of your life. But with that, I'd love for you to explore this idea and in a journaling prompt, maybe think about what one specific area of your life can you bring your full attention to? Can you really pour yourself into? And how are you willing to do that? It can be an intuitive call to action, or if you really do want to know where is Mars and Virgo transiting in your specific chart according to your rising sign, and maybe where you're kind of wanting, or where you're being called to work with the cosmos to have that extra support, you can check out my TikTok, my Instagram, my YouTube, because I get into it there. But otherwise, that is all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for sticking around. And here is today's interview. I usually love to start these off by telling the person some celebrities that have their sun and moon combination.
Oh, interesting.
I'm just seeing if you resonate with them. Now, usually when I do these, I find a lot of celebrities. Yours, because you're just a rare little mushroom in the pond, it was harder to find them, but there were a couple. So the first person I want to say is Jussie Smollett. Are you familiar with his lore?
Yes, of course. She's the one she was in Friday Night Lights.
Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett's a man. Wait, who are you thinking of? Oh, Journey and Smollett, maybe?
Jussie
is the guy who, I forget what he acted in, but he faked a hate crime.
That's him. Wow.
Yeah.
Love that for me. You're like a crazy psycho liar? No, I don't resonate. No, I'm not claiming him.
I just wanted to know maybe if you would ever consider faking a crime to gain sympathy in general.
No, I actually hate sympathy, and
Yeah.
it makes me super uncomfortable, and I also don't give it out very easily.
Yes.
I don't like when people play victim and
Yes.
I'm just like, girl, we all going through that.
You know what? I love that about you. And it's funny because I do feel like that's probably your Virgo, because my mom you have to earn my mother's sympathy and empathy. And she's a Virgo rising as well. And I do feel like you just guys, you have you have more checkpoints for that.
Yeah,
But understand
that he actually going through something. Because I don't know, a lot of people also nowadays are just like, oh, woe is me. Everything is, and everything is bad, but everyone is going through that. So it's just like,
Yes.
the sympathy is not going to come from me.
It is the struggle Olympics these days. I do agree. How about, what's funny? I feel like I know this name. I don't know this. Who's Judy Garland? Do you know who Judy Garland is?
She's an old actress.
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not too familiar, but
Ancestrally.
What if she's I can't say anything. I don't know much. What if she's like an asshole? I don't know.
Okay, well, this person you're definitely going to know. And I do want to know how you feel about this. Northwest.
Oh, I do know that she has my birthday, June 15th, which is a rare birthday. I also have a friend named Catherine who her birthday is June 15th. And I don't know, she's pretty chill. North, I can resonate with because, all right, hot take, Kanye West is insane. But I'd be resonating with his insanity sometimes, not like, the crazy anti-Semitism or anything crazy like that, but
right.
His creative genius, the creativity and just the nuance and his dedication. I feel like a lot of the stuff he's doing right now is a performance, art piece. I dead ass think that he's trolling everybody, and one day he's gonna be like, I was just kidding. Just kidding. Either way, it does
No,
not give him the right to like say any of these things.
no,
But
but yeah, I agree.
I think Northwest is very similar to him, and like she has that same attitude, that same like I don't give a fuckness, and
Yeah,
she's gonna be a little Kanye at the end of the day.
it's true. Honestly, I can't even imagine being a Gemini raised by a Gemini. Like,
My
that.
dad was a Gemini.
Oh my God. Okay, so you guys are fully, yeah. That's okay. So do you feel like, and that's kind of part of the line of questions that I had, because I think it's so obvious that you are like sort of carrying this through line of your father's artistry. Are there a lot of ways in which you see him mirrored in the way that you are today?
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like even when I was little, my dad was strict and he was a little intimidating, like his presence was a little big,
Yes.
but we were always being like compared. Like I was just like little Nanda, which is like his name is Nando, and like just little him, and like always just compared. We have the same temper,
Yes.
short fuse and impatience, and also like creativity and just like a dedication to like make art out of anything. All of the furniture in my house as a child was painted on and refurbished, which made it so extremely uncomfortable. Like we couldn't sit on the couch because it was painted like with acrylic paint,
Yeah.
but it looked amazing. Like it was beautiful. It was like greenery and like Colombian, like like just beautiful, but very uncomfortable. And the whole house was like this. Like there was just art everywhere. And the only thing that I wish I could like speak to him really about is like where the inspiration or the motivation to do these things came from, because he didn't make like he would sell this art, but it was very like scarce. Like it happened randomly. And I'm just like, dude, if I didn't get paid, like, would I still do this? Like, I don't
Yes.
know.
Oh my God. Well, it's funny because that's also one of the questions that I had, because I think as a Gemini, and also we didn't even say your chart. Your chart is Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon, Virgo Rising. But beyond that, I mean, you're Gemini down. You're Gemini Mercury, Venus, Mars. And so I think that it seems as if creativity, like there was no other sort of path for you.
Yeah, I feel that
Yeah.
way. I feel like no matter what, I would be doing something artistic or something creative in some sort of way. I just don't know, like, yeah, if I had followed like a regular life path of like something more normal,
Yeah, too.
if I would have been like just fed up and then done this anyway at some point, or I don't know how that would go, but sometimes I wish I could give it all up and just be normal.
Well, yeah, I think having to build a financial foundation that's extracted from your career, has that taken away from like the desire to create in itself?
Yes, I think it,
Yeah.
like, I was just telling my friend because she wants to be a content creator and she loves making content and traveling. And I was like, the minute that you try to make traveling your money, you're gonna hate traveling. And it's
Yeah.
not that you hate it, but it's just like it strips the love or the fun right out of it, because
Yeah.
you're not coming from like a place of fun and exploration. You're coming from like, I have to do this. If not, like I'm not eating, I'm not
Yeah.
paying rent, whatever. So now I'm like right now today struggling with like I have to get some commissions done, and I'm like, okay, but like after that, what do I do? Like how do I want to get back to exploring and having fun and like trying to like what I'm making and such, but yeah, you really have to be so intentional because work is art, and then you have to make art that's like just for fun, and then art that pays your bills, and then it's just like
Yes.
you have to be intentional.
What? Well, I was gonna ask, do you spend any time outside of the art that you have to make, whether it's, you're releasing it or it's a custom, do you still create for funsies and it doesn't go anywhere? Or do you feel like, oh my God, it's a waste of time because I'm not making money from this thing?
Yeah, it depends on like my stress level and the amount of money in my bank account, to be
Yeah.
honest. So like if I'm struggling, I'm like, fuck this shit. I cannot be like sitting here doodling right now.
Yeah.
But if I just dropped a collection and I'm feeling like really burnt out from doing that, I will then like slowly, it also like, it's hard because it makes being creative a chore. So like when I'm done and I'm burnt out, I don't even want to draw for fun. Like I don't want to do anything for fun. I just want to like lay and do nothing. And so it does make it hard, but I will say like once I rest a little bit, I will get back onto like doing things just for fun to kind of like spring a new collection.
Yes, 100%. What does grounding look like for you? Because I'm like, you are, I think so much of what you create is air driven because you're so air heavy in your chart, but also that Virgo rising, and also just me knowing you, and I know how connected you are to earth and to animal and to soil. You know, how do you maintain a sense of grounding in your life?
I think, well, I walk every day. Like in the morning, first thing I do, take my dogs for a long walk. And that's very, very helpful. I will say if I don't do that, like my brain is just a mess.
Same.
And then I try to like go to like a different place. Like I have a really pretty lake to walk around, but like obviously the same thing gets monotonous. So I'll go to like a park nearby and walk. And like I really try to take a lot of time to go somewhere and feel something, like anything at all.
Literally, yes, same, same.
A park, the beach, like we are in Florida, so we have so much nature. And
Thank God.
I try to take advantage of that. And everywhere I can, go to the beach, go to a park, sit by a tree. My dogs honestly are really grounding. I think aside from like them being dogs and being amazing and like comfort animals, I think like having to feed them, having to keep like a stable routine for them makes me stable. And then also having my partner who's a Virgo, and he's very like, he could be home every single day and he doesn't care. You know, he like, you know, encourages that sometimes you need to just be home and be chill. But for me, if I didn't have dogs, if I didn't have like responsibilities, I would be everywhere. Like literally everywhere, I would be gone. Like gone.
Yes. No, and it's funny because I just saw a reel yesterday where they were talking about how the person was saying that, like, for them, prayer has manifested as, like, taking care of something, like taking care of their pets and their plants, and, like, they're a caretaker for a parent, and they were saying that, like, just being in devotion to keeping something well and alive is, like, the closest you can feel to God, and it's, like, such a grounding experience, and I feel like you're speaking to that. Like, having to feed my dogs and walk my dogs is how I feel
Yeah.
like I'm on earth again. I feel like, well, do you have a spiritual practice or a spiritual belief outside of that?
I feel like I'm really spiritual. I believe in like God, and God is in us, and like definitely not in any type of religion. My family's really Christian, and that kind of radicalized not going that way. Before that, we were Catholic. So it just all seems very.
That's you never hear about, like, going from Catholic to Christian. That's so funny.
Yeah, well, because when they were Catholic, they weren't really. Like, they were just Catholic by saying, "Hey,
Baptism.
my mom was Catholic." But we had never, like, I remember I moved to Colombia when I was like 9. And the first day of class, we had to walk to the church. And I literally called my mom and I'm like, "Hey, what's our religion? Like, am I allowed to walk in here? Like, we've never discussed this." And I was 9. I had no idea, like, what even religion was. My dad was, they were really hippie vibes until then he passed away. And then that, you know, that grief, I think, really shook my mom and scared her. And she had to believe in something. So she kind of went the religious route. So we were Catholic, and I got baptized at like 9 years old in Catholicism. And then obviously didn't follow anything. We rarely went to church. And then we moved back here. My mom met my stepdad, who is American and very Christian.
Wow.
And then I was like 13 when this was happening. So it was like really a fight. Like, you know, you're already like going through puberty. You don't like your mom because of the chemicals inside you.
Yes.
And on top of that, she's trying to make me a Christian woman. So
That'll do it, babe.
So I was like, no.
Yeah.
But still to this day, like, she still, tries to, like, encourage religion and Jesus. And I believe in Jesus. I believe he was a conscious person who came here to, like, teach us a lot of things. I just don't think that the Bible has been interpreted exactly how it was meant to, and it's been changed in a lot of ways. So, like, I don't know in following that, but I have my own religious practice, and, like, I meditate, I journal, I light my candles, I have my altar, and I try to, do that as much as I can and stay connected and talk to God in my own ways, but definitely not in any religious group.
Yes. I think we're the generation that's really gonna, like, build our own narrative around having a personal relationship
Yes.
with what you define as divine rather than, like, organized religion, and you touched on grief, which is something I'd love to explore because I think as someone who is so Mercury heavy, right, like, Gemini and Virgo are both ruled by Mercury, so there's a lot of, like, mind at the forefront. Do you feel like in the grief you've experienced, you've intellectualized it, or have you felt it more? How do you process grief?
I think it's like phases. There's times like it happened a long time ago. I was 9 years old when I lost my dad. And I think obviously it's a core relationship and it's a young age. So no matter how much I try to intellectualize it, my inner child can't.
Yeah.
So that wound will always be kind of open for her as a child. So if, I'm triggered and like I just go revert back to her and like that moment and
Yeah.
how that struck me. And I think if it was like any other relationship, it might have not been so hard to like deal with. But I think your parents, in any way, whether they're absent or have passed or they're still with you, that relationship is the core of who you are.
Yeah.
So no matter what, like it's gonna have an impact no matter how long it's been. And like some years, I'll go like years without like really going into it too much or like
Yeah.
being able to feel like, oh, I'm past it, or like not past it, but like, oh, I've healed through it and like it's not affecting me as much anymore. But recently, like I've never celebrated Father's Day. Like I call my stepdad and I'm like, Happy Father's Day, blah, blah, blah. But
Yeah.
it's never been a day that we like remember because I think it's hard. It's hard for my mom as well. It's just like a day that we just don't touch. And this year, it fell on my birthday.
Mhm.
So I was like, I
Yeah.
love this.
Yeah,
So I
wow.
think it was very triggering. So I really did like have to sit with those emotions again and kind of like experience the grief and kind of, sit with all those feelings again that I thought I was past. And it made me realize I don't think I could ever get past them. I think
Yeah.
they're just going to come and go whenever they're triggered. And I think that's okay. I mean, I rather cry about it and feel it and remember him than like just act like it's never happened.
Yeah.
Because it feels that way because no one around you, like I moved from another country. So no one around me ever met him except for family. And so it feels like sometimes like I made it up. Like it didn't exist or it just was a memory that no one can relate with. So it's not as important or no one can really feel that for you or resonate with you unless they've met that person. So, yeah, it's like a lonely experience,
Yeah.
but it has like it's something that's not going to go away. So, that's
Yeah.
I feel like grief isn't something people get over. I think you have your moments. Sometimes you're okay and sometimes you're not okay, and that's okay.
Yeah, and it's something you learn how to live with, and I'm sure it to some degree deepens your sense of artistry for sure. As a Gemini, do you subscribe to the whole two-side concept? And if so, how would you define your two sides?
I don't think it's two sides. I think it's that there are so many sides.
I was like, there's 7, yeah?
There's like 100 million.
Schizophrenia.
No, I think it comes from a place of like, we're just so adaptable that I can literally just, I can feel how you're feeling and I can feel how they're feeling and I can understand both sides of that story. And that could be seemed as two-faced because I'm agreeing with you and I'm agreeing with you, but it's just like I can put myself in your shoes and I could put myself in your shoes and understand how you feel this way and you feel that way. It doesn't mean anyone's right or wrong. It just means people perceive everything with their own reality, their own trauma, with their own perspectives. And if someone hurt someone's feelings, it might not hurt my feelings, but they have a different set of life experiences that they're coming with. So
Yeah.
that might hurt their feelings. And that's something I've had to learn as I've gotten older, that you can just adapt and you can explain and you can communicate why it is that, oh, I did agree with them, but I also agree with them because I can see both of these sides. And a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people are like very,
Black and
stuck
white.
in their perspective and they can't view any other perspective. So I think with Gemini, that's what pisses people off, is that they are loyal, but they will also see the other side of the argument. And like that will piss someone off. Like, no, you have to side with me and me only. And that's not how we are.
Yeah, I've struggled with that. So I wonder if I struggle with it particularly just as a fellow air sign, but like I feel like I've always questioned, I'm like, is this a people pleasing tendency or is this just truly my ability to like understand multiple perspectives and like understand that multiple things can be true at once? But I feel like there's some people who are so devout to loyalty that they think that that's an act of betrayal. And I'm like, you could both be wrong or you could both be right. You know what I mean? It's so interesting that you would contextualize that through the Gemini lens because I understand that as well. I feel like Libra struggle. I think it's an air sign thing, low key, for
Yeah.
sure.
I feel like I could see how Libras could also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're all about like justice. And I think what's so interesting and particularly distinct about your chart is that so much of your planetary concentration is in the 10th house, which is career and how people experience you. And so, one way to interpret that is that in order for you to have success, you have to be at the forefront of your work. Like, people have to see you and feel some sort of intimate connection with you in order for, things to sell and to be a success. And so, how do you deal with that? How do you process that? Do you find that to be true?
I do find that to be true. I feel like it's also like where we are in social media and where we are, that you feel like it's so oversaturated. Everything like, 100 million girls could be selling ceramics, but it's just like they want to connect with you and the person that you are, and then they want to buy them from you. Throughout the time I've been doing this, I've experienced a lot of people like copying my work and trying to sell it and stuff like that. And at first, it would really make me angry. But now it's just like, people will buy stuff from you because they want to buy it from you, not even because of what I made. Like, I'll sell things that I'm like, how could someone buy this or think it's good or like it or whatever? But they do. And it's like, it doesn't matter what you make. It just matters that they feel connected to you. They resonate with you. They resonate with your experience. I personally wish
Yeah.
that didn't have to be so centered around me. I won't say, even though people think that I'm comfortable in front of a camera, or because I do this, I love being on TikTok and I love being on social media, but I don't. And it's very much a very, very big struggle for me mentally. I just had to take a break for my birthday and everything because I was like deep in depression because of like how much content I had to make and how my whole life has shifted from making art to just making content. And I will say I'm very grateful. It's like a stupid thing to complain about, but
Right.
it does have a mental load. And I feel like other generations never had to deal with
No.
this amount of like exposure and having every minute of your life have to be recorded on a phone and then having to edit that and make it look good, and then having to actually do a job on top of that, make art that takes hours and hours and hours of work, and find times to film it and find times to edit that and find times to post it and all these things. It's just a lot of hats to wear, and sometimes it does all pile up, but it's, it's still good. I'm not
It
like,
is what
I'm
it
not
is.
here, a doctor clocking in 5 a.m. Like,
Yeah.
I'm grateful. It's, compared to a lot of other industries, it's a cakewalk, but
Yeah.
it does have its own mental struggles.
There's so many, like, especially upcoming like music artists where I see they have to make like 17 reels a day to one clip of their song to like push it so that it'll go viral. And it's so crazy to think about how like in 2007, an artist of any avenue would have to navigate that so differently. Like I think social media has made accessibility so pertinent that like having to make content around what you're already making becomes a secondary job. And I think you have every right to be fatigued by that because that's like you didn't sign up to be a content creator, you signed up to be an artist. And I feel like it's impacting every avenue of creativity. But I think that you have in such a visceral way protected the spirit of your work, and it is still something that is so authentic. And even the content that you make is not like to like a trending sound and like, you know what I mean? Like it's still an extension of you. And so I commend you
Yeah.
for being able to
Thank you.
protect
But it's
yours.
not without conflict because I do
Yeah.
that like everybody, or like not everybody, but a lot of people like, oh, you need to be making this content, you need to be using these trending sounds, like
Yeah.
you need to do this. Like everything has become like, oh, you have these followers, like you have to maintain or you have to grow or you have to do these, and this is how you do it. And it's just like, I did it. I already did it. You see how I did it? I'm not trying to do that. Like, I'm trying to maintain, and obviously I want to grow, but like in an organic way in which I don't have to be on a trending sound. I don't have to be posting 20 TikToks a day. Like, my TikTok is super sad right now because I don't post. But it's like, honestly, I feel like I was rebelling against TikTok because I'm like, look, I put in on all this work. I gained all this authentic following that I wanted to connect with, and now you guys refuse to show it to them. Like
Yeah.
anything I make only goes to like some percentage or whatever. Like I'm just like, that's fucked up. Like all these creators worked super hard to create the following that they did, and now it does not, the value has deteriorated because you decided to make some crazy algorithm that doesn't benefit anybody.
Yeah.
So TikTok, personally, I have like a
You have
yeah.
I forgot what about that's I've like well maybe it's I don't know. TikTok has pushed me more, but Instagram is like yeah, I feel like that algorithm has been tougher for me. But anyway, we're gonna close out with a rapid fire round.
Okay.
So just answer to the first thing that comes to mind. However, the first one is what is your favorite placement in your chart? But I mean, they all kind of seem to be the same. But do you have a favorite placement?
Mine's Virgo rising for
You
sure.
Virgo rising. Yes. What is your
Thank you.
thank God? What is your least favorite?
I think my Gemini Venus.
T. I would appreciate that placement, but I understand your qualm for sure. What would little you think of your life right now?
I think she'd be like, damn, that's pretty cool. I personally, when I was little, I never thought like this would be, you know, I wanted to be a vet. Like that was what I wanted to be. I love animals.
You still are.
And I'm just like, I'm glad I didn't do that because it's really intense. But yeah, she would have never even thought this was possible. So she would have been like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I see her in you so loudly. Like you're really living her dreams. What is one album, if aliens landed today, that you would play them so that they could understand the power of humanity?
Wow. I think any Sade album.
Yeah,
I
same.
feel like this is the best we got.
Yes, that's mine is Love Lilacs by Sade. I love that. And lastly, if you could give this season of life that you're in right now a name, a title, a vibe, what would you say?
Well, this is a Saturn return, maybe.
Yes.
So I don't know, just welcome all the fucking struggles and take it day by day and try to extract as much information and experience from everything you'll be going through from now on.
Yes, honestly, as someone who is freshly on the other side, mind you, you're gonna have a break in fall. I think from like September to February, it's gonna move back into my sign, so then I'll get hit again. But I'd say that like
Wait, really? Like I didn't know it goes back and forth.
it's gonna go retrograde in September, so I'll have I'll have like a Lats punch and then you'll be back at it. But I do think that it's so important to, like fear mongering in astrology is something I have qualms with. And I understand why Saturn returns are scary, but like, it's really you're becoming a woman. This is like emotional puberty, you know?
Facts. I honestly don't feel so scared. I
Good.
feel like good things are gonna come from it for
Yes.
sure. I'm
Yes.
just like, but the only thing is like, mine is in death or something like that.
Okay.
In birth or whatever. So I'm just like, God, like,
No one died.
no one die, like dead ass, like please, like I can't do it, like I will be the other one, like no, I can't.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to have you. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform to catch the next big 3. See you then.